I'm John.
And I'm Random, and this is Inside Cannabis, where we take a look back at this week's top cannabis news stories that you need to know about.
The Cannabist is reporting that the Colorado House overwhelmingly passed an amendment that would allow school officials to administer medical marijuana to its students. Colorado lawmakers passed Jack's Law last year, allowing a parent or caregiver to come to the school and administer a dose of medical marijuana to their student. Quinn's amendment to that law would allow school nurses and designated personnel to give students their cannabis-based medications. So, what do you think of this, Random? You're a father, I'm a father.
Dude, about time for it to sit there and go, okay, you need to now just come to give your kid medicine, even though we have a school nurse who can't do it because of whatever, is atrocious. And once again, in my opinion, showing that they're not concerned about the kids. They're concerned about themselves. And so I'm just glad that we've finally gotten to this point of realizing, like, oh wait, there's how many thousands of cancer patients getting this? There's been how many years of us knowing what this drug does and what it doesn't do.
Exactly.
And so I'm so glad that this is happening in Colorado. We're in a state where it's not. Washington needs to step up. A lot of other states need to step up. And so I'm so glad Colorado is at least on this forefront. So I commend them 100% for guiding other states to what they need to be doing.
Yeah, exactly. Here to Colorado, and hopefully it spreads because it really is about the children. If this helps the child get through whatever disorder or anything, strokes, epilepsy, all sorts of things that can treat this. So I'm for it, and I 100% applaud Colorado.
Yeah, so good job, guys. Anyways, Forbes is reporting that replacing alcohol with marijuana may prevent dementia. Alcohol consumption puts users at risk for dementia. Marijuana is effective in curbing binge drinking behavior and even alcoholism. There is also data out there that suggests the herb may actually serve as a treatment for dementia patients.
Very interesting. I think this is a really good step in treating dementia. Dementia is a horrible thing, and it affects millions of senior citizens and people, you know, getting older. And I feel that any steps to treat that is a good thing.
Yeah, I'll admit, not being a scientist or a doctor, I don't understand the difference really between dementia and Alzheimer's. It just seems kind of like the same disease to me, of like you not being able to remember things, and there's kind of a failure there. But this is one area where I am a strong advocate of don't make claims until we get research. So we need more research. But the research has been done on the alcohol side. Alcohol, 2 + 2 = 4. You drink, I even drink alcohol, so I'm not saying anyone should immediately stop, but obviously we know there are side effects and can increase your risk for dementia from alcohol.
Right.
And so anything that you can do to not have a negative side effect and bring that down in society, we're only going to see the health benefits as people get older and in life. So I really, really hope that someone takes this cause and helps move it forward. It's exciting news, and I just can't wait to see when they pass something where people are in a double-blind study proven to say, hey, here is another thing that cannabis has done to help our society.
Right, so. Exactly. And definitely I agree with you on waiting till the science is fully out, and let's get the science out.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So. Moving on into other news, Marijuana.com is reporting that conservative Utah and Oklahoma are content with popular movements to allow legal marijuana. The push for legalized cannabis has moved into Utah and Oklahoma, two of the most conservative states in the country. Justin Streckel, political director for NORML, says America's appetite for cannabis is not going away. We are in the death rattles of prohibition. Cannabis legalization could face some religious pushback, particularly in Utah, where 2/3 of the population is Mormon. Advocates remain confident that they've crafted a medical cannabis measure that respects the Mormon church and culture while providing much-needed relief for people with chronic pain. So what do you think about this in old Utah and Oklahoma?
Okay, one, for years I heard people from Texas, Oklahoma, those states would be like, never there. It's never going to happen there. And I would just sit here and be like, yeah, it is. Just you, I know it. Guarantee it. Just wait. Especially once it goes legal or recreational. Just wait. But here is how we get Utah on the board. Guys, don't share this plan okay, somebody needs to call Coca-Cola and let them buy a small weed farm, and then all of a sudden there'll be an update to the Mormon Bible, and it's okay for them to smoke. So we just have to get Coca-Cola to start making concentrates. It's totally fine. They won't be able to smoke flower or pre-rolls. Then they'll just be allowed to smoke concentrates in like vape pens that literally have like little Coca-Cola logos. So guys, I know that's a little low blow there on the old Mormons and that kind of stuff, but it does seem that as long as the Mormon has a financial interest in it, then all of a sudden there gets to be a change. Like, is it that, do Mormons get to drink Pepsi or Coke? I always forget, which everything else is bad, but then now, since they now own it, they get to drink one.
Right, exactly. So, well, and that just goes like, I mean, we just talked about it on the last episode with John Boehner and his interest in it. It's bad until they can benefit from it, and then it's okay.
Yeah, so, exactly. So, anyways, I basically I want you to know is I always knew Oklahoma and Utah would definitely go down this road, and they would go down the road once they saw the dollar bills, especially Oklahoma. And so, in my personal opinion, Texas is going to fall so much sooner than people think. And so, guys, everyone who's down there, living there, there is hope, and it's coming soon. Get out, get your voices heard, and get out and vote. So I can't wait.
Yeah, no, neither can I. I think it's great, and I agree with you. Texas is right around the corner. So get out there, make it happen, Texans.
In other news, High Times reports that the Alaska House passed a measure to erase prior marijuana convictions. On April 15th, Alaska took steps to end discrimination against people charged with low-level marijuana possession. Alaska legalized marijuana back in November 2014, but legislators had yet to address the issue of prior marijuana charges. This legislation will translate to more employment opportunities for people, especially people convicted with low-level cannabis possession. Now that the House has voted in favor of Bill 316, the Alaska Senate will consider it. What do you think, John?
I think this is one of those issues that when legalization came around, it's one of those things that was on our mind. We're like, what about all the people that were, in my opinion, wrongly convicted of possession of this plant? Now, I really appreciate it, and I want to say that has Washington done the same thing, or I could be wrong? Have they? So
California, you have to do some stuff, and they, we needed to actually research this a little bit more because it happened in a couple different states.
Yeah.
One state literally said, okay, if you apply, yeah, we'll drop it, but then you're sitting in jail, you don't have an attorney, and you're sitting there and you don't hear about that. You're not, I'm just letting you know, when you're in jail, you ain't getting the latest news, let's put it that way.
Right.
And so no one had been applying, no one's family, and so very few people were getting that benefit. Another state, it may have been Colorado, it may have been Las Vegas or Nevada, literally said we're gonna automatically do it. We're just gonna let the computers do it, and then we're letting these people out. We're not gonna keep burdening our taxpayers with this. I'm so glad to see Alaska do this because this is what needs to happen in every single state where medical or recreational occurs. Yes, guys, and I hear the right and the conservatives literally screaming at me through the internet and all the comments I'll read later. Yes, I get it that it was illegal when they did it. I don't care. Okay? Guess what? If I know you're not going to go back, and if someone got a ticket when a traffic zone was 35 and now it's 55, you're not going to go back and refund everyone money. But these are people's lives who haven't done any serious crimes, non-violent offenders who literally weren't even trying to deal and make money. They just had it on them. Mm-hmm. And guess what? Also, the situations with those is normally 2/3 of those people who are serving actual time for that are African Americans, which we all know has been a major issue. So overturning this is the number one thing that needs to happen, and it's going to save our country a ton of money, and is going to help out our economy. So any way you look at this, this is a win.
Yep, I 100% agree. 100% agree, and I want to see it nationwide.
Yeah, and last thing I'm just going to put on that, no. To my knowledge, I've never heard one thing of Washington doing this. In any way, shape, or form, Washington needs to step up.
Washington definitely needs to get on board with this.
Yeah.
In more news, High Times is reporting that a major coffee chain will be teaming up with a cannabis company. Recently, NAC and Second Cup Coffee published a press release announcing a new partnership with a cannabis company called National Access Corp. Under the new partnership, the companies plan to apply for licenses to sell legal weed. From there, the idea is to use Second Cup's already established real estate holdings to quickly build a chain of recreational dispensaries. So what do you think of this?
I have so many thoughts about this. So one, I just want to say I apologize, Second Cup. I've never heard of you. Obviously, we're in the Pacific Northwest. We know a thing or two about coffee, but it sounds like Starbucks ate your lunch. You couldn't compete anymore, and now you think that being in the everyone makes money in weed. Well, guess what, guys? I think you got a wide awake when you come on in, but come join the water. If you want to be in weed, we want everybody who wants to be in weed, but I'm just letting you know, definitely recreational dispensaries, highly competitive, and I think they're going to find out that it's even more competitive than coffee.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's a whole different ballgame, and you know, I commend them for their craftiness and using the already established locations, but...
Dude, I have to... Okay, so here's the thing is, I almost want to just literally... I'd love for them to have posted out a map of where their locations are.
Exactly.
How many coffee locations do you have that are zoned 1,000 feet away from schools, 1,000 feet away from parks, 1,000 feet away from...
Exactly.
You're picking the worst real estate to put your coffee in, or something's seriously wrong. So... Yeah. This is like, I almost wonder, do they know how hard it is to find real estate for recreational dispensaries, or are they going after states where it's a little bit more lenient? Because even if they were like, hey, we're going to do this now in California, dude, a lot of those allotments are already gone. So this one's very peculiar. It really does feel like it's someone on the outside going, hey, that's a good idea. And then they talk to someone and that person was like, oh, yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting to see, what are they going to call the dispensary? Second Buds? So, sorry guys, just having a little too much fun with this story.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing though. That's, you know, like, so you have your locations already set up, but yeah, there's no saying that those locations will be even able to open their doors to recreational, recreational cannabis. So, moving on to our next story.
I have no idea what that word is, but in Oregon...
Shit, sorry.
And it was going a million miles.
That started...
Willamette.
Fast. And plus, I stole your line.
That's totally fine. What was the last thing did you?
I said here I'll just try to recreate it. Yeah. So yeah, I commend them on their location thing, but yeah, I really feel like their present locations are going to have a tough time getting their doors open to legal recreational cannabis. So
yeah, I agree. In other news, Willamette Week reported that Oregon grew more cannabis than customers can smoke. Challenge accepted. So guys, here's the story. It turns out Oregonians are good at growing cannabis, maybe too good. In February, state officials announced that 1.1 million pounds of cannabis flower was logged in the state's database. Yet last year, Oregonians only smoked, vaped, or otherwise consumed just 340,000 pounds of legal bud. Oregon farmers have grown 3 times what their clientele can smoke in a year. Yet state documents show the number of Oregon weed farmers is poised to double this summer without much regard for whether their demand to fill. The results, prices are dropping to unprecedented lows in auction houses and on dispensary counters across the state.
Yeah, I mean, this is crazy, and it's like, it's too much weed. Is there ever too much weed?
Okay, number one, I told you so, I told you so, and I told you so. I have been down to the conferences in Oregon. I've sat on the stages and the panels where everyone called me crazy, and I told people, just wait, it's just 12 months, it's just 18 months. Yes, I know the OLCC fucked up real bad, and they didn't license anybody, but just wait, prices are going to plummet. Number one, Oregon, literally with their legislation, their counties, their cities, they wanted this. They wanted to produce enough weed to ship. They want to be the microbrewery of the United States. They saw California coming online, and yes, they know there's going to be some pain points in the short term, but as soon as Oregon can ship, they're going to be in a way better place, and that's where they want to be. Mm-hmm. But yes, everybody knows that prices have been too high, actually, in Oregon. Customers are crossing the border into Washington. They've been crossing the border into California and consuming. Oregon wants it going the other direction. Who's actually going to be hurt by this 1.1 million pounds more than Oregonians is all the recreational dispensaries in California and Washington, because all those clientele that were coming by, they're gone. Mm-hmm. Just wait till you see, because once again, they have way less tax. So not only is their prices going to drop, it is going to be phenomenally low. So I can't wait till we're reporting, because it's going to come when we report, say, October of this year, what prices hit in Oregon. Holy shit, guys, get ready for the $25 ounce, a $5 gram of beautiful gold shatter. It's coming, and it's coming real soon.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's so new that it's going to take that time for everything to just kind of, stabilize and get to the point where, the supply will meet the demand, or in this case, the demand will meet the supply.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, the one thing is that they can't complain is that our industry is still growing. More people are consuming. What people are going to be shocked by with that number is that they have to realize you get the price low enough, the market actually expands. The black market, gray market goes away, and consumption will jump up to meet that, because people aren't going to a dealer anymore. And so, yes, last year they only consumed your cannabis of 340,000 pounds. That number could easily double, if not triple, once you remove the black market.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's a big point here.
Yeah. So. Oh, also, we don't even take into consideration how much Oregon people consumed of Washington or California weed.
True.
So that number really isn't that accurate. But John, that's all the time we have today.
Yeah, that's it. So this has been Inside Cannabis. I'm John.
I'm Random.
We'll catch you next week.